Joining me now is former Republican National Committee Communications Director and Republican strategist Doug Heye, and former Democratic Senator from Alabama, Doug Jones, the two Dougs, a distinguished senior fellow at the Center for American Progress. Thank you very much, Senator, for being with us, and to Doug Heye. So National Security Advisor, Secretary of State, they're both powerful roles, obviously. What do we expect, from this new administration with them in top positions? And what do you think of these early picks, along with Homan as border czar and possibly Kristi Noem as the DHS secretary? What does all this say? Doug Jones, first to you.
Well, candidly, Andrea, the pick of Marco Rubio, I think, from my standpoint, is a little reassuring, even though I think that there was such conflict between Rubio and Trump in the early days of their relationship. I've known Senator Rubio. He has got great experience in the intelligence community and other things, and seems to be someone that I think Democrats can work with and is something I think would be very good for this administration. I'm a little more concerned with Congressman Walz, an election denier, really just a Trump loyalist, and Kristi Noem, who has no experience with Homeland Security whatsoever. The border czar, Homan, is somewhat very disturbing, I think, for anyone who believes that the system ought to be actually fixed rather than simply a draconian round them up and throw them out the way that Steve Miller seems to want to control the immigration system in this country.
And the president will be playing with, at least several more senators. But Doug Heye, there's some consternation we hear from Capitol Hill that with such a narrow majority that he's now named two House Republicans from safe seats. Yeah. But it takes a while to elect, to hold special elections and to replace them. So they're reducing by two what could be, a majority in single numbers, single digits for sure.
If you're a Republican on Capitol Hill, it's a good problem to have, but it's a problem. And so as Donald Trump meets with House Republicans tomorrow, I'm sure they will be jocular about this, but House Republicans and House Republican leadership are going to make it clear, stop poaching from us. We need to help you here in the House chamber, not so much within the administration. And, part of the challenge is, so if you look at Elise Stefanik, her race would probably be safe. It would be competitive, but probably safe for Republicans. But the appointment that would happen in the meantime would potentially be a Democrat by a Democratic governor. So there are issues of concern there.
Well, apparently they talked to the Speaker, Mike Johnson, about all of this. Let's see what he had to say.
President Trump fully understands and appreciates the math here, and it's just a numbers game. We believe we're going to have a larger majority than we had last time. It's too early to handicap it, but we're optimistic about that. But every single vote will count. I think he and the administration are well in tune to that. I don't expect that we will have more members leaving, but I'll leave that up to him.
So right now, it's very narrow. It looks as though they will keep the majority. We can't call that yet. NBC has not called it yet. We want to count the votes, and California still has some that are still out there. But right now, they're fairly confident on Capitol Hill about keeping the majority.
They are. And look, obviously, we've seen the past, 2 years of House Republican rule. That's been a lot of choppy waters with the 15-vote speaker vote for Kevin McCarthy, the ouster and so forth. But having a president of your own party in the White House, that enforces discipline right there. There's going to be a whole lot less tolerance for rogue actors within the Republican conference to act up as they have over the past couple of years, because Donald Trump will tell them to stop it.
And Mike Johnson is expected to actually go to Mar-a-Lago this coming weekend. In the Senate side, Doug Jones, as a former senator, let's talk about what you're seeing there, because Schumer changed his mind and did invite Dave McCormick, the Republican who has claimed victory, but NBC has not declared it yet because there's still votes to be counted, provisional ballots to be counted in that Bob Casey versus Dave McCormick. That said, Schumer did, after saying he wasn't going to invite Dave McCormick today to the organizing meetings, he did. So he's kind of putting his finger a little bit on the scale there, that the assumption is that McCormick is ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that is the assumption. I mean, look, I think history will judge that, recounts very often, very few times will it change the outcome of what the initial count was going to be. And so I think it's just more realistic. He's not putting the scales one way or another, but I did think it's just realistic to go ahead and bring someone in. Bob Casey's already there. He knows the ropes, so he doesn't have to do that. One thing, Andrea, I want to mention with what Doug said about the House, because he's absolutely right about the numbers in safe districts. But I would also remind that this would be a special election. And, you know, the Senate seat from Alabama was a safe Republican seat in 2017 when there was a special election. You really can't tell what's going to happen in these special elections. Democrats have had incredible success in special elections over the last 4 years. So it's really a roll of the dice, I believe.